Hello and welcome back to Saber Outdoors. My name, of course, is Mark Alexander, your wonderful host. Guys, today we are testing a very strange looking thing. Guys, this is something I've seen in stores, I've seen in places, I've seen at flea markets, I've seen at yard sales, but I saw this one right here, this Hart. What do we want to call this? Do we want to call this a hammer, a hatchet, or a multi-tool? Guys, I saw this Hart multi-tool at a pawn shop, and I'm like, okay, I've never seen one of those in action before, so I'm like, maybe you all haven't either. So I decided I was going to pick this up. Now guys, just giving it a quick look over. Blade, hammer. I will say this is riveted on instead of being a solid mount. I am concerned for those rivets because I'm not going to be very nice to them today. Also too, we have tools, so I will show you them in descending order as far as like which one's the most important to the least. So first thing, we have a beer bottle opener. Why they keep putting these on, I do not know. And we have a not so great Phillips screwdriver. Next, we have a fish scaler with a small measurement on the other side. And on this side, we have a file. How good that file is, I do not know. Now, the next thing we have a D-hooker on the end of this. We also have something of a saw. So this has not only a small saw, but also the little hatchet blade too. We will be testing the saw out, so don't run off. We will be doing those things if I can quit hiccuping. Now, we also have the blade, but I will say this blade, if you look closely, this blade has been damaged. Somebody has been too enthusiastic with one of those sharp implements, and they have damaged the blade. So we are going to fix that. And they've not been too kind to that edge either on the little hatchet, but we're going to fix that in order to get this into a good working order, at least before we get our test going. Now you might be asking, how are we going to do those things? So we are definitely not doing that with a whetstone. We are not doing that with a one of those deals where you grab hold of it and you over and over again and rip material. No, we're going to rip material in a whole different way. We're going to use this cheap Hyper Tough file, and I'm going to file an edge on this tool so that I can have something that will work. I'm not going to have something that is going to be shaving sharp. Not happening with a file. But I can straighten that knife edge, and I can make this edge a good working edge for a little while. I don't know how good the steel is, so I don't know how long it will hold up. But guys, I'm going to quit talking to you, and you're going to quit looking at my face. I'm going to put you down where I'm working, and I'm going to show you how we're going to work this over as this leaf hits me. All right, guys, so I have you now where you can see me working rather than my face. I know my face is lovely, but you need to see what I'm doing. So what I'm doing, I'm going to make passes on this side of this edge. I will make those same passes, however many I do, on the opposite side. Now, when I'm making those movements, I'm making a smooth, continuous movement across my entire surface, not just part of my surface. But guys, all we're gonna do, we're gonna take and kind of brace it against our board, and we're gonna take our file and we're gonna start working. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and I almost knocked you off, 10. But guys, we're gonna turn it over, and we're gonna do that same 10. So let me now I have to reorganize because I have to do this left-handed. But we're gonna do those same 10 motions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now, we're gonna look our edge over. I will admit, this is not great, so we're gonna continue to work on it. Guys, I'm not gonna bore you with me working on it. I'm gonna work on this until I have a reasonable edge on it. You'll have to work it a little bit here, a little bit there to get it just so. But whatever you do on one side, make sure you do it on the other, or your edge is gonna be asymmetrical. It's gonna be to one side or the other. But uno momento while we work on this. All right, guys, so we're gonna start work on, we have something reasonable on our edge here. It's not shaving sharp like I told you before, but this knife, I've noticed that in grabbing my my equipment, I have to watch and make sure this corner doesn't get me. Also too, I have to now orientate this edge somewhere in a safe situation while I'm working, which thankfully somebody has designed this well. This edge is pointing away from me if I'm using my knife correctly. Now, if I'm not using it correctly, if I'm doing this kind of motion, look where my head is. My head is right where my wrist is. This is not a safe thing to use in that particular orientation. So keep that in mind if you are somebody that's thinking about this. But we're gonna take our file and we're gonna do exactly that same motion down the edge on both sides to get this reasonably straight. All right, guys, so we have been working our knife edge over for a little while. It is not perfect as of yet, but you can see those deep gouges that were in there from somebody who held it on to one section too long, or they filed too much on one section. Those mistakes are nearly erased with not that much work. Guys, I have not been here for 15 minutes and I now have a reasonable edge here and a reasonable edge here. These are not shaving sharp. I don't feel like I would cut myself just to touch them like that, but if I were to put my finger on it and then drag it, I 100% believe I would cut myself, and that would be foolish. I know YouTube would probably like it, you might like it, but I wouldn't. I like my fingers intact. I've already split myself open once for this channel. Never again. At least not on purpose. But guys, we're gonna take and start testing. So guys, there are only a few things you can do with this as far as testing. We're not splitting. We are not going to do the splitting because look at this thing. It's literally hand-sized. If you're splitting wood with this thing, you have bigger problems than needing to split wood. What we are going to do, we are going to take a stick and we are going to hit it 10 times to see how this does chopping. Now, guys, I'm gonna hopefully not break my knuckles because I keep bumping you all. You all are maybe a little too close for this, but it's okay. We're gonna keep going anyways. Now I'm gonna hit it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm gonna hit it 10 times just like we do for any other kind of this test, and I am hopeful that these two rivets do not go flying, because I would rather my camera and not only that but myself not have to deal with this head flying. It's not shaving sharp, but it's sharp enough to hurt me, and this hammer, it hammers, and I'd rather it not hammer me. But guys, we're gonna go ahead and get it done. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, we didn't do too bad. But keep in mind, this is not a big thick stick. This thick stick's maybe not even 2 fingers wide. Look, 2 fingers. Not that big. You are not going to cut firewood with this with any kind of efficiency, because I can just as easily break that off and then find me something, a tree or whatever, and I can get it fouled up and boom, cut it in 2. So honestly, I could probably make it without that, to be just plain. But something that this may be better than average at is feather sticks. So what I'm gonna do, I'm going to hammer this down into there just a little bit, and we're gonna try our luck with some feather sticks. So I've got me a small thing right here, and it's got plenty of stuff on it. Okay, and there's that edge coming to the forefront. It's not a razor sharp edge. You're not gonna shave your face in the morning with it. But I can cut reasonable feathers with that technique. I can take a piece of wood and start making shavings with it. Good, nice, long shavings. And this could work well for a fire. So that's a point for this thing. This thing does relatively well on that particular test. Now, one thing I do want to do, I want to just literally, as hard as I can, just bash the living fire out of this thing. So that's going to be our next test. So, uno momento, I'm going to kind of clear everything away, get myself set up. I might even stand up for this so that I can get like the big hi-ya on it. But guys, we're going to see if we can break this, or we're going to see if it's relatively tough. All right, guys, so we've come to this. I decided to move you all back so you could see me better. Now, one thing I am worried about, let me show you really quick. If these two rivets break, my hand's going to be right here, and that is where it's going to end up being. It's going to hopefully not dig in my hand and hurt me, but the possibility is there. And guys, I do not have a glove with me, so what's the old saying? YOLO. So hopefully this does not end up with a ER trip. Otherwise, this is going to be a different kind of video. But guys, we're going to give this probably, we'll give it 10 good hard strikes. That's what I would expect to do if I were pounding in some kind of tent stake, or if I were pounding in nails or whatever for a project. But we're going to move our board to the edge so I don't nail my knuckles, and we're going to hammer our board, not our table. We want to take care of our tables, because if we ruin those, they will not invite us back to the place that I'm at. But here we go. I am surprised. It did well. And look at my board. You can see I was putting out some effort, and it made some dents. Let's check and see if it's loose at all. Not loose at all. I am actually quite impressed. I thought for sure that I would ruin it. Now, we'll say that face is not so pretty anymore, but guys, a hammer doesn't need a pretty face. An anvil does, but not a hammer. We're gonna go ahead on to our next thing, whatever it may be. All right, guys, so we have done many tests with this thing. There's one test more that I want to do before I quit, but I have thrown my sticks away. So uno momento, while I get my sticks, I'm going to whittle with this knife and see how good it does whittling. It should do just fine because it's fresh filed. By the way, this should not be your normal, regular, everyday sharpening implement. I only used it because it needed a lot of help. But uno momento while I get that stick. All right, stick achieved. If I can not turn this table over, that'd be great. So guys, we're just gonna take our knife. Yes, works really good. You know, if I needed to make something, obviously I can make a ton of shavings quick, which this isn't the greatest wood, but it gets the point across, guys. It gets the point that this now has a reasonable edge. And you know, while we're here, we also have a saw on this. Let's go ahead and, ooh, that doesn't look amazing. Our edge is kind of taking some wood with it. I don't like that. Guys, this is probably not the greatest of seals, but we also have a saw, so let's just do quickly a test on the saw. So we'll just scooch that to one side and quickly test that out. You come down here, sir. Come down there and look at me testing this. So we're just gonna try our little saw out. Yes, it works. Would I pick this over a good saw, a big saw? No. Would I pick this over a over one of those oh, you know, the little saws, the survival saws, commando saws is what they call them? I would pick this over a commando saw. But guys, saw works, knife works. stick behind me. Let's get you back up to the star of this, me. But guys, as far as this goes, I bought this for $10 from a pawn shop. Would I buy this again? No, I would not buy this again. Simply put, this is a worse version of every kind of tool it's trying to be. The knife and the saw are pretty bog standard as far as a cutting implement is on a cheap outfit. The hammer, pleasantly surprised, it worked well. You know, still no movement whatsoever. I do not know why somebody wanted to put a cheese cutter as their hatchet, because that's what this reminds me of. This reminds me of one of those little tiny cheese cutters you get at Christmas time. But guys, this ain't the deal as far as being a hatchet. Get a real hatchet. This is not a real hatchet. Now, as far as like that part over, it's pretty okay for as cheap as it is. But guys, that's all I have to say as far as this is going. I'm going to put it back into my handy dandy case that it came with that kind of doesn't work terribly well. But I'm going to put it in that to one side. And guys, I just want to tell you thank you so very much for watching. We need you all watching all the time. Also, please like, share, subscribe, comment, hit the bell notification, subscribe, guys. Buy the merch. The merch is only going to be available until January 1st for the price that it is. It will never be this cheap again. I am literally selling it and making nothing on it. And I want you all to have that opportunity as early subscribers, early supporters, early members. I am very appreciative of you, and I want you all to have the merch for as cheap as I can give it to you without cutting my own throat, of course. But guys, also, memberships are $5 a piece. If you want a membership, great. That would be wonderful. You will see all my content early if you have that $5 membership. But if you want to do the free 99 thing, all you gotta do is hit that button, subscribe. Doop. But in the meantime, thank you so very much for watching. We'll see you somewhere in the woods or on the water.